Hello, everybody, and welcome to our firm. We hope this reaches you feeling productive and ready to get into your taxes. I am Miguel Centeno, managing partner here at the firm, and excited to walk you through how we are going to tackle your tax return. We have a process that we take you through in order to finish your tax return. We're going to call it our tax return workflow, and there's three main phases. Phase 1, setup and upload. Pretty straightforward. We need information to get started. Phase 2 is the actual preparation. That's where we do the hard work and we make sure that we have sign off and the ability to file on your behalf and get a good understanding of what we did great and what we can improve on. And that's the finalization and offboarding process. So just understand these are all active phases for both of us. And in the next few slides, we'll talk a little bit about each phase in detail here. So let's begin by talking about setup and upload. And we want to set up your account so that we have a secure place for you to update your information, to provide sensitive information without emailing. And that's going to come in the form of the information request portal. So you should get an invite on day one just as soon as you sign up. It might be a few hours later, it might be the next business day, but you should have access as soon as you sign up. Other important thing is the engagement letter. So make sure that you sign that, which allows us to prepare the return on your behalf. Once you're set up there, we want to start getting into uploading. And here we've laid out a process that you can expect to understand how long things take. So we have clients that finish uploading, they say, okay, what's next? Well, we want you to know that ultimately what we're working towards, if you look at the far right of that, is assignment. You want your return, your tax return, to be marked as ready for preparation. And what's going to happen during that process is we're going to have our client service advocate review your file to make sure that everything we need is ready to go so we can hit the ground running. What that allows us to do, it is allows the tax professional to really come in with more strategy. So they're going to come in ready to advise on what you should be doing, what you're not doing, things of that nature. So once we get to that step, we're now talking about the preparation phase. The preparation phase usually takes us about 2 weeks, and be mindful that if it takes longer to get those follow-on items during phase 1, it's going to take us longer to get into phase 2. So be sure to keep an eye out for any requests and let us know if they exist, if they don't, so that we can get into actually doing the work. Now, after we get the return, it may be that someone who's a senior tax professional is going to notice that they're potentially missing documents. So be mindful that, again, as soon as we have those responses, we can get working again. We want to compact that preparation phase, but it is dependent on your ability to get us final numbers and answers to outstanding questions. What we're working towards here, again, if we look to the right, is getting you a draft return. And just note, a draft return is an initial take. It is not the final edit. Let's talk a little bit about how we review and finalize a return here as we move into step 4. That's where we want to basically go over the return with you to make sure that our I's are dotted and T's are crossed. It also allows us to have candid conversations about what we could be doing either for the current year we're working on, or if maybe the door's closed on those strategies, we want to give you a heads up on what might make sense. So understand that what we're really trying to work towards, again, is making sure we have final numbers that you sign off and agree on. And next, we want to make sure that we get the right signatures in place in order to file. So once you approve, you do need to provide us with authorization to e-file on your behalf. You do need to sign that. It's required by the IRS. And then we will invoice you for any balance outstanding. And that should all be explained and understood up front. So that's our finalization process. It's where we really make sure that we have all the approvals and all the things administratively we need to file. Now, filing is not the end of the return, although you might think it is. Once you file the return, we're going to wait back for confirmation that the return was received by the IRS. And that's where you see to the far right, about 2 to 3 business days after we hit the file button, the IRS will say approved. Sometimes, for various reasons, the IRS may reject the filing. It could be a tax ID issue. In some cases where custody is split between 2 parents, it could be a dependent care issue. There are a lot of reasons that might hang that up, and we want to solve those. And it usually takes a few days. And that's also another reason that you do not want to wait till a deadline to file, because it might come back as rejected. So you want to definitely look for that e-file confirmation that we get from the IRS, which puts in stone that the IRS has received your return. Finally, we get to step 6 of our process, and I think this is really where we want to make sure that we're providing value and that we're providing a vision for beyond the year. We want you to come to us and, as a result of working with us, leave with a little more education, a little more strategy, and that's where we get into what do we do next. Of course, we want to handle any fires that exist. So if there's a big tax liability, we can have a conversation about financing that through the IRS or making payment. If there's a refund, we'll give you a link where you can track that. And finally, we want to make sure that we connect with you during the year. So what we make sure all our clients have is some kind of touch point, either after tax season, about handling any improvements that we identified during the process. Oftentimes it's bookkeeping related or tax planning. The list could be endless, so we custom tailor that for your needs. And once we're through, we make sure that we get feedback from you, because whatever we do well, we want to double down on. Whatever you identify that we need to improve, we want to make sure that those improvements are there so that when you come back the next year, we can 10x or 3x, whatever it is, the experience that you've received. So that covers our tax return workflow. We want to make sure that we're providing you the best service we can within the constraints of how we work. So be mindful of the information request, be mindful of the signatures that you need to provide us in order to finalize. We're trying to move things along, and we'll follow up as much as we can, but we also want to empower you to know what the next steps are before checking the box or providing us that information. So we look forward to serving you, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you myself personally. Thank you so much.